Hi, this is Catherine. We're about to do a yoga for perspective class, so let's jump to it. All right, so first thing we're going to do is come into perspective for the fact that you were able to make it here today. Dedicate this time for yourself, and I want you to take a look at the four corners of your mat and look at the distance between all of them. Look at the four corners of your body, from your shoulders to your hips to your ankles. And we're going to take a deep breath and let it all out. Okay, go ahead and face the mat. Go ahead and line up your four corners of your body with the four corners of your mat. And we're going to think for a second in our heads. I want you to change perspectives from this rectangle to a circle, a sphere that makes up the space of your head. And in the center of your head, we're going to think about it almost like a little, snitch from Harry Potter that's like buzzing around, and maybe it was buzzing around all day today, but it's kind of buzzing in the center of your head. And we're going to recognize that there's also another one of those little buzzing balls right around your belly button, around your navel. If you can move it a little bit lower, that's even better. But if you feel it just around your belly button, it's a good start. So here within our rectangle on our mat, within the rectangle in our frame, we have these two balls. One we're going to call your center of gravity. The other we're going to call your perspective. We're going to start by shifting our perspective. The first way to do that is to gain some awareness on where we're at. Right now we're in the back, close to the back of the mat. I'm going to move to the back of the mat completely. And I'm going to connect with the center of my brain again. I'm going to draw a visual from my eyes to the right corner of my mat. Draw a line from that ball through your eyes to the corner of your mat. Take a deep breath in. Draw the shoulders back. Relax the knees. Keep your focal point on the corner of that, on the right-hand corner of your mat. And let everything drop, tingling all the way through the bottom of your feet. Like you're just shedding layers, like you're melting. Okay, deep breath in. And on this next inhale, I want you to shift your gaze in a direct line across the top of your mat to the left corner. Let it all out. Feel like layers are coming off your shoulders. Remember to relax those knees. The layers are dropping off your legs, through your feet, down into the earth. On the next inhale, we're going to shift our gaze back to the right. Inhale in. We're going to let it out. Exhale for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale in. 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shift to the eyes to the left corner. Exhale out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Shift the eyes to the right. Exhale out. 2, 3, 4. At your own pace now, we're going to do this 4 more times. So you end back at the right. Start at the right. Inhale in. 2, 3, 4. Shift. Exhale out. 2, 3, 4. Inhale in. 2, 3, 4. Shift. Exhale out. 2, 3, 4. Inhale in. 2, 3, 4. Shift. Exhale out. 2, 3, 4. Inhale in. 2, 3, 4. Shift. Exhale out. 2, 3, 4. Very good. Okay, go ahead and lift your arms above. Come into center over your heart. And I want you to lean forward by pushing your tailbone and your hips back behind you so that your center of gravity, that belly button, gets sucked back into your spine and your heart drops over the mat. Now, you're not perfectly tabletop just yet, but I want you to notice the changes that took place in order to make this happen. Your neck had to go up in order to keep your eyes on the corners of your mat. Your low back had to curve a little in order to help you bend. If you are having your legs straight, go ahead and bend them just a little. And notice at this point, you should be feeling a little strength along the lower back and maybe a little strength in your upper shoulders. Go ahead and stand back up. Breathe as you need to right now. We're going to do that again. But this time we're going to go a little forward so that your hands are on your shins. And we're going to drop our head so it's even parallel with the mat. Okay. So now your focus has had to change to directly underneath your head. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to stand back up. Deep breath in, looking at the top corners of the mat. Deep breath out. Go ahead and come into forward fold with a tabletop with a flat back. Take a deep breath in. We're going to do this one more time. Stand up. Keep the eyes at the top of your mat. And out. Forward fold with a flat back. And let your eyes drop directly underneath your head. Your toes probably come into peripheral. And just let your arms hang loose, like an ape. Okay, maybe you get a little bounce in the knees. Watch that back, make sure it doesn't curve. We're still wanting to keep it flat, but at this point, you may be feeling some of those muscles start to activate. Okay, we're gonna come back up to standing. Lift those. Go ahead and take a look at your toes, right? These feet that have been supporting you all day long, right? They carry you. We don't even realize it, but they do all the walking for us. They move us, right? So go ahead with your eyes on your toes and give them a little thank you. Okay? For all the hard work they've been doing. I'm going to come back up, look out straight in front of you. Find a place on the wall that lines up with your center line of your body, but still at eye level. All right, so at this point of the practice, we have many focal points, right? We have one directly at eyesight on the wall. We have the top of the mat, corners. We have when the head is parallel to the mat underneath with the eyes. And we also have our toes, right? Our toes give us some level of orientation, some perspective on where we're going. So let's get going. We're going to take that right leg up. Okay. Go ahead and walk. Actually, step. We're just going to take a step. Okay. We're going to lift and bend the right knee. You might balance here for a second. Look at the top corners of your mat, a little bit in front of you. Okay. Because we're walking. We want to make sure we're not going to step on anything, but we also want to know, we don't want to be looking at our toes. We want to look a little bit in front. So keeping your eyes at the front of your mat, let's take the next step. And lift the left leg. Come into balance. Okay. Find your point, your focal point, top of your mat. If you need to, check that you're balancing. Thank you, ankle. Thank you, toes, for supporting me. But we're going to go up there. So when you're ready, deep breath in. Go ahead and take the next step. Come into balancing. Okay, at this point, we're not going to walk any further. So we're going to come to standing. And we want to garner some vision. So our perspective is going to look right out over the horizon. And we're going to look with awe and amazement because we don't directly know what the next step is going to be. We want to let it unfold. Go ahead and come to seating on your mat with your knees bent. Go ahead and grab your shins with your hands, and we're going to lift that chest up. Okay, you're going to get a little bit of a pinch here, right? You're going to feel your hips, bones against if you're really flexible or you're really strong in your spine and your sacrum, you're going to feel your ribs almost by your knees. Okay. What I want you to find right now, that's the most important thing, is we're going to shift our perspective inward. And we're going to pretend like someone dropped a line, whatever material you want it made out of. Okay, metal, plastic, water, whatever you want it to be. Get creative. And they're going to drop that line through the center of your brain, through that little buzzing ball, through your neck, in the middle of your shoulder blades, down through those ribs, all the way through your stomach and through your sit bones. Okay. Now, if you notice on that line that your spine is curving, you're going to want to sit up tall. It's going to take a little bit of strength between the low back muscles, the upper back muscles. Okay. I'd rather you use the strength of your back and your core than pulling with your arms. Okay. So go ahead, let the hands go loose and try to keep that straight spinal line. Our perspective is now inward. It's on this line. And we're just going to take note. Take note of if the right side feels different from the left. Maybe one hip, it's easier to sit on. There's not as much feeling or sensation or pinching or tingling or like dullness or heaviness. Maybe the other one's a little lighter. Okay. I want you to just note it down. Every once in a while, we're just going to take those hands off, trying to use those back muscles and those core muscles. At this point, if your hips are getting a little exhausted, that's the point. There's a little bit of active muscle work going on there to hold you up. You didn't know how much spinal work to hold you in alignment happens every day until you took out those legs, took out those feet supporting you. Okay. Let's get a little relief and come roll down slowly on your back with the last thing going down is your head. Go ahead and place your hands on your belly. Okay. Actually, let's place the hands on the hips. We just did a lot of active work in there. They were in a little bit of a bind, right? Because we were squeezing them tight. And I want you to extend your right leg out. I want you to just feel sort of an expanse happening in that right hip, the front hip, your hip flexor. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do that line of our focal point that we talked about earlier, where your eyes are out on the horizon. Only this time, the eyes are straight up at the ceiling, but eye level, perpendicular to your body. Okay, the next line I want you to draw, once you have that line, is a line from your right foot, let's just say the middle of your right foot, through your ankle, up your knees, up your knee, bee's knees. Okay, up the knee, up the right hip. And we're going to do almost kind of like triangle, diangle it. Fantastic. Up all the way to that focal point in between your eyes. Okay, so we kind of have an angled line and we have a straight line going on. I'm going to give you a moment to completely focus on those two lines. On your breath in, choose one of the lines and shoot a lightning beam or a laser beam or a love beam, your choice, through that line to the direction you're looking at. And on the exhale, we're going to send it back through that straight line. We're going to switch to the other line. Maybe this time it's your leg. We're going to shoot those beams from the focal point all the way out through the bottom of the heel. Maybe you do a little adjusting in order to stay on that line. And on your inhale, we're going to receive back through that line, back up to the focal point in your brain, or your little golden snitch vibrating ball that you still have going on. Very good. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, but on the other side. Okay, so extend that lift the right leg, bend it, extend the left leg out straight. And I'm not sorry, I didn't say this for the first time. let's extend that leg, and actually we're going to bring it a little bit diagonal. So bring that left foot to the corner of your mat. Okay. Very good. All right. So you already have a pretty good line of sight from perpendicular with your eyes. So let's start with that one. Inhale in, shoot it out all the way to the wall. Maybe you want to send bubbles this time, or a rainbow. And let it receive back in. Good. We're going to draw a line from your focal point in your head. Now let's go ahead and draw the line the first time through your head, through your neck, your shoulders, your shoulder, left shoulder, rib cage, left hip, left knee, and out through the left heel. Now watch how your leg changes as you draw that straight line. We're going to receive back in through that same straight line. Go ahead and make any adjustments you need in order to get that straight line. All the way up to your head. Very good. Okay, go ahead and extend both legs out straight. And we're going to start with one of the most important areas in the body for changing our perspective, holding our perspective, being adaptable and open to our perspective, and let's see. I don't know. That's all I got. 3. Okay, cool. So that would be the neck, right? The neck supports our head, and the neck turns our head. So we want to make sure that our neck is strong. Now, if you've had any like neck injuries, anything like that, go ahead and get a towel and do this with the support of a towel. As you do this, we'll try to get stronger to progress to not using the towel. But if you need the support of a towel, definitely go ahead and grab it, roll it up, and place it as a roll behind your neck. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I want you to take your chin, draw it into the back of your neck. Okay, so tuck the chin down and then push it back. Actually, I'll do it from the side one more time. Tuck the chin down and pull it back. Okay. Okay. And go ahead and come, make sure you're back and laying down. We're going to tuck that chin and kind of lift the back of your head a little. And I want you to come up off the mat with your head just 1 inch. Okay. Like this. Now, be careful that you didn't, in that move, you didn't lift your chin, keep your chin tucked, and you didn't come up too far, right? Your perspective with your eyes, your direct line of sight should not change. It still should be on the ceiling. All right. We are going to stay here for an active strength exercise and hold our heads. Okay, for a couple counts. Go ahead and tuck that chin, lift the head up. Maybe your head is shaking. That's a good thing. Tremors of truth. Breathe. And relax. Go ahead and let those eyes shut. The shoulders open wide. We're gonna go again. Go ahead and tuck that chin. Let your occiput sort of lift. Get that jaw smile. And lift 1 inch off your mat. Breathe. And relax. And shake out that head side to side. Let your eyes close. And when you let your eyes close, you let your concentration on your focal point dissipate. Good. Okay. So I'm going to have you roll over onto your bellies. Okay. And we're going to put our hands underneath your shoulders to start. Okay. Woo, my neck's a little tired. That was a good tired. That was an aligning tired. Whew. And I want you just to lift by squeezing the low back just a little. We're going to come into half cobra. Enough so the work happens in the front of your rib cage, in your sternum, and in your low back, your thoracics, and your lumbar. And so all of that active energy is going to drain, and the blood is now going to go into your spine from your neck. If you need to, or you want to take this pose a little more, go ahead and push the top of your feet into the mat. And go ahead and gather that perspective from your eyes out to the wall, like just shooting straight with your eyes. We're going to draw a straight line from your eyes, shooting straight, down through the bottom of your feet. Go ahead and make any bodily adjustments you need to fit along that straight line a little better. Maybe one shoulder is a little denser. Go ahead and relax. We're going to drop the right ear to the mat. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Lift again, low cobra. Get your focal point, your drishti. And notice if the shoulders have changed. Maybe one shoulder is a little lighter or a little airier. And relax the left ear to the mat. All right, come into center, come onto all fours. let's go ahead and take a child's pose. Yep, we're gonna drop. You don't have to widen your knees, just go ahead and sit back. Close the eyes, let your focus dissipate. And come into feeling, which is different than perspective. Feel your hands on the mat. Feel your forehead on the mat. Feel your chest kind of elongating and stretching. And the knees and the feet. What do they feel like? Give all your weight back to the earth. Let out a big sigh. Gonna come back into tabletop. We're gonna lift we haven't done alternate sides yet. Okay, so we're gonna lift the left arm out in front of you. And it's gonna cause you, do you remember that ball at the beginning of practice that was around your belly button and your navel, your center of gravity? When you reach your hand out in front, that ball should go, hi, I'm here. And I want your feeling and awareness to be on your four corners. Your wrists, your shoulders, your hips, your knees. I want your feeling to be on that ball. But I want your perspective to be just a little bit in front of your hands, but on the center line. So, good. Okay, change hands. Right hand extend. Now, let's see if you can get that center of gravity ball to activate. Maybe it's easier to feel that ball on one side than the other. Okay, if it is, I want you to play with moving your hand left to right until you feel that ball in your stomach. I want you to play with lifting the hand up and down. Once you find the point left to right, move the hand up and down until you find your spot. Good. Keep your focus about, I think it's like 3 inches above the hand, but in the center of the mat, and let the hand fall down. All right, very good. We're going to do this left leg, okay? And when you lift your left leg, look to draw a line of connection to that ball in your stomach. Okay. All right, so we're going to move the leg, left foot on this left and right until you feel that ball on that plane. Then you're going to move the left leg up and down until you feel that ball as a direct line from your foot to your belly button. Good, and release. We're going to do the right leg now. Lift that right leg and move it left and right until you feel that ball. Maybe it's in a totally different spot. Again, keep your eyes the center of your mat about 3 inches in front of your hands. And when you find that left and right spot, now we're going to go up and down until you find that spot where you have a direct line of connection from the foot to the belly button. And it might be in a completely different spot. And that is okay. We're going to breathe through this. Draw a straight line, push your heel through that straight line, and relax. Very good. All right. Go ahead and tuck those toes. Actually, yep, tuck those toes, draw your hands back, lift up onto your toes, and I want you to stay lifted on your toes. Okay, we're gonna get a nice foot stretch. Foot deserves a little care every once in a while. Good. See if you can get your heels to your butt cheeks. We're putting those toes in a little bit of a squished position. But that's okay. They're strong. They can take it. I want your focus, not your I want your feeling right now and your perspective focus with your eyes on your big toes. Okay. So kind of draw your eyes to the center between your toes with your awareness on your big toes. And you're going to connect to the feeling from the big toe through the arc on the inside of the foot up to the heel. Okay. So keep focusing, keep looking between your toes and keep feeling a line that is drawn along the arc on the inside of your foot, all from your big toes up around the pad of your toes, around the arc and to the heel. Good. Okay, go ahead and drop those heels a little bit. We're gonna bring those hands forward, come into downward dog. And at first, I want your hands between your thumbs. I'm sorry. I want your eyes between your thumbs on the center line, just like we did with our feet. But now you're just going to look between your hands, only for a moment. Okay, go ahead and drop that head again. Shake it out. And then come into a full expression of downward dog. We haven't been here yet today, so give yourself a little love. Kind of feel it out, right? And remember to take note. Does one side feel a little, I don't know, sharper? Or does it feel a little more like it takes a little more work? Okay, just note that down. Lift your butt to the sky, push out through your hands. And we're going to come into plank pose. And this time, your eyes, let's shoot some darts, whatever you want them to be made of, through the center of your mat. Okay. Okay, so your eyes are looking straight down. We got a perpendicular axis we're going to draw right now. And we're going to draw another line from the top of your head all the way through your spine, out through your tailbone, past your feet. So we got 2 lines, and I want you to constantly be thinking about those 2 lines. Good. All right, go ahead and drop those knees. Come into child's pose. Give those wrists a little love. I like to make like a wave, you know, with the hands. Just kind of let the fingers tap like I'm playing the piano a little. All right, very good. Okay, so, all right, we've done the neck. There. We're gonna come into lion's pose. I'm gonna face you so you can see, but just stay with the knees out wide, extended. We take those wrists, and I want you to turn the hands inside out. So the inside of your wrists are facing away from your body. All right. And your butt cheeks, your sit bones should be on your heels. So we don't want to be lifting off. We want to be sitting back. But you're going to get a nice stretch. Call it like nerve threading on the inside of your forearms. Okay. Now that is at first. That may be one of the first sensations you feel in this pose. Okay. Now, once you have that worked out a little bit, meaning you've gotten used to it, maybe the muscles relaxed enough to lengthen or melt open, then I want you to push your chest out through your shoulders. Okay. Try to keep those sit bones still on your hips. So even though you're pushing your chest out, you're still sitting on your hips, on your feet. Okay. Very good. And I want you to go ahead and lift your neck, but your focal point with your eyes should still be straight out in front of you. Okay, we're not going to look up. We're going to look straight out in front of you. And if you want to do the full expression, you can stick your tongue out. If you have gotten the full expression from your forearms, through your chest, with your neck, and you can stick your tongue out to open up the throat and the cervical spine. Good. Notice if any one side is different from the other. And as you stay in this pose, can you go through that same order again and again? Check your wrists. Are you sitting back on your heels? Extend your chest. Straighten your neck. Check your focal point. Extend the tongue. Very good. All right, we're gonna lift those hands off. We're gonna do a little circle here just to, you know, shake it out, get some movement. Okay. And I want you to come into lotus, or I mean, crown chakra. Make a little lotus with your hands. Crown mudra. All right. We're gonna open wide around the heart. Okay. Extend all fingers with your pinkies touching and your thumbs touching, but make almost like a cup. All right. And I want you to drop your shoulders down. Extend like someone's got a string top of your head. Notice how I sit up a little taller and I extend my stomach, right? Pushing into my hips. And this time, we're going to let it rain. I want you to imagine that it's raining just in a square around you, just for you. And you have a pot in your hands that's collecting water. And it's filling up. And maybe you decide that you can open a little hole at the top of your head. And that rainwater starts to fill up a tube that goes along your spine. And as it fills up, there's a little more weight to it, a little more gravity. Okay. You may notice that your hips sink a little more because they're full. And your chest drops a little more as it fills up. Your throat opens, your jaw drops wide, and your cup starts to overflow. Now, as the top of your tube in your spinal alignment fills up, I want you to take a moment to feel between your eyes. Can you put your eyes on one side of the tube, on each side of the tubes? So in the center of your brain, in your head, you feel like there's even parts on both sides of this tube that's filling up. And when you have that evenness, not before, sit with it, hold it. There should be the same amount of space. There should be the same density. Go ahead and move it around, right? Play with the matter. Say, hey, you're too dense up there, drop down. You're too dense below there, push up into that space. Hey, I don't want you to be that dense. Let's wash it, right? Let's soften it. Let's make you sparkly. And when both sides are the same, front, back, left side, right side, we're going to take the already overflowing cup and we're going to shoot the water out an umbrella over you. Let it wash over you. In a perfect circumference. So as the water falls, it falls in a circle. But you're not getting wet. And it just so happens, somehow, magically, this tube, the bottom opens and water starts flowing under, in through the tube and up through the top. So it never empties. It just keeps cycling. We're going to go the other direction, through the top, out through the bottom, up through the top, down through the bottom. Hopefully that Gives you a little expansiveness, gives you a little movement, gives you a little space to breathe, a little more alignment. Namaste.